My nephew says he's been reborn, my dad said seriously, and in a month, there will be a zombie apocalypse. Mom, Dad, my brother, and sister-in-law all believed it. Wholeheartedly. They sold off everything, liquidated their assets, emptied their savings, and started building a survival bunker. Money won't matter in the apocalypse, my mom told me. What we need is food, water, and safety. Then came the pitch. You should sell your house and car too, Jess. Cash out now and move in with us. We'll survive together. I wasn't so sure. Something about my nephew's apocalyptic prophecy didn't sit right. The timeline, the logic, it all felt full of holes. After several failed attempts to convince my parents and brother to be reasonable, I overheard my sister-in-law whispering to my mom one day. "Do we really have to let Jess move in?" She complained. "She'll take up a whole room." Mom's voice was firm. "She's not moving in, we're just getting her money. Once the zombies show up, we'll kick her out. After it's over, we can burn some incense or light a candle for her. That should be enough." I turned away and smiled. Then I introduced them to a few payday loan apps. That morning, while I was at work, my mom called me. She sounded mysterious and refused to explain much, just told me to take the day off and come home immediately. When I arrived, my brother and sister-in-law were home from work, and my nephew, Tyler, was also skipping school. My parents were sitting anxiously on the couch, faces tense but oddly excited. I hadn't even sat down when there was a knock at the door. It was Will, the real estate agent from downstairs. My mom ushered him in warmly. "Will, come on in. Let me show you around the house." Will looked confused. "Are you sure you want to sell this house, ma'am? You've only owned it for 6 months. "Yes," my dad said, waving his hand decisively. "We want it sold ASAP, drop the price by 100,000 if needed. Even 200. Just get it sold in 2 weeks. Will glanced at me. He knew I was the actual owner. I'd bought the house through him half a year ago, even though my parents lived in it. He lowered his voice. "Jess, if you're okay with knocking $100,000 off, our office can buy it ourselves. We'll have the cash in your account in 10 days. But, are you sure you want to do this? The place was just renovated." My parents jumped at the offer without blinking. These were the same people who argued with grocery clerks over a 50-cent coupon. "Mom, Dad, why are you selling the house?" I asked. "You love it. It's brand new." "This is our house," my dad snapped. "We'll do what we want, but it's under my name. I paid for it." "How is that not my business?" My sister-in-law chimed in, voice dripping with sarcasm. "Didn't you say it was a gift for your parents?" Funny how fast that changed. "If you're so generous," I shot back, "why don't you buy them a house yourself instead of moving into mine?" My brother jumped up. "Watch your mouth. My wife doesn't owe you anything." "Enough," my dad shouted. "This is our house. We say sell, then it's getting sold. Will, go get the contract. We're signing today." Will stood awkwardly, realizing I hadn't been told about any of this. "Maybe take a day to talk it through," he said. "I'll head out for now. Let me know." Then he left, without waiting for a reply. My dad was fuming. Mom pulled me aside, trying to explain. She said Tyler had been reborn. That in 1 month, the entire city would collapse. No electricity, no water, no gas. They'd be trapped inside, rationing what little food they had. My brother and his wife would go out for supplies and never return. My dad would get eaten alive. Mom would be murdered by desperate neighbors. Tyler would try to escape and end up dead in a storm. Tears welled up in her eyes as she told the story. My poor grandson. We failed to protect him. Tyler looked deadly serious. "The zombies aren't the worst part," he said. "People are..." Mom burst into tears again. "We need $500,000 to build the bunker," she said. "We've got 50. Your brother and sister-in-law have 30, and you probably have over 100. If we all pitch in..." "No," I said flatly. "You just bought this place. You love it. Selling it now makes no sense." My brother sneered, spoken like a naive academic. "What use is money in a world overrun by zombies?" I raised an eyebrow. Okay then, why not sell your house? It's in a school district, should sell fast. He flushed. We've lived there a long time. There's sentimental value. And Tyler still needs a school when this is all over. So I was the only one expected to sacrifice. You want a $500,000 bunker, and I'm expected to contribute $420,000? I turned to my brother. Didn't you say you were planning to buy a luxury SUV? That's like $100,000. Maybe skip that, since you can't exactly run over zombies. He went red again. I don't have the money, he muttered. Mom started crying again. I felt bad for her. What if Tyler was telling the truth? I softened. Tyler, honey, if you really were reborn, can you tell me something only future you would know? He hesitated, touched his nose. A nervous tick. I'm a psychologist. I've spent years spotting lies. Tyler was full of it. I smiled gently. Think hard, okay? Any zombie names or virus strains? My sister-in-law snapped. Jess, stop being so paranoid. He's just a kid. You think he can fake something like this? Tyler has never lied in his life, Mom added, glaring at me. Bullshit. This kid had been a menace since preschool. Bullied classmates, lied constantly, got teachers so fed up they'd given up trying. Maybe you should ask him more about where he got this idea, I said. Could be from a book or a game. Those post-apocalypse stories are popular now, my brother snarled. Ungrateful bitch, you're just like last time, doubting us until it's too late. You deserve to be zombie food. At that point, I realized there was no reasoning with any of them. I left the house without another word. That night, I couldn't sleep. The more I thought about Tyler, the more convinced I was he was lying. Then I remembered. When I renovated the house, I'd installed security cameras in every room, just in case anything happened to my elderly parents. I pulled up the footage, and there it was. I told you, my sister-in-law said on camera. If Jess sells the house, we get the cash. Even if there are no zombies, we win. Mom nodded. That ungrateful girl. She wouldn't even put the house in our names. Always scheming. She just didn't want the house going to me and Mike one day, my sister-in-law said, rolling her eyes. Typical. That girl's got no heart. Then Mom asked, if zombies do show up, are we really going to let her stay with us? Hell no. Dad replied. We'll take her money. Then once the world ends, we kick her out. After it's over, Tyler can light a candle for her. That's more than enough. Tears streamed down my face as I watched. I'd always known my brother and sister-in-law were selfish, but I never thought my own parents would plot against me like this. They weren't planning to save me. They were planning to use me. I wiped my eyes. Then I picked up my phone and texted Will. Time to play my part in the family apocalypse. The next morning, I was already sitting in my parents' living room. My brother Mike and sister-in-law Rachel ignored me completely. Tyler, the little con artist, rolled his eyes at me. My parents looked at me. Their first words were, "So, Jess, have you thought it through? Are you ready to sell the house?" My eyes were red, like I'd cried all night. I sniffled and said, "Mom, Dad, I think Tyler might be telling the truth." Rachel's head snapped toward me. I called Jody. I added quickly, and she said, whatever I do, I shouldn't breathe a word of this to anyone. Jody was my childhood best friend, now working for the Department of Homeland Security. She always had insider information. Mike was fiddling with his phone, only half listening, when he suddenly exclaimed, "Holy crap, someone just posted a video of zombies overseas. I'm forwarding it to you guys." As he spoke, the video was taken down. I urged him to message the account. He tried, but it showed as deleted, IP traced to another country. That was it. My parents, Mike and Rachel, were now completely convinced. Tyler stood proudly in front of me, hands on his hips. "See, Aunt Jess? You were wrong. Now say sorry and buy me a toy." I wiped my eyes and nodded. "Of course, sweetie. I'll take you shopping later." Satisfied, he strutted off. Dad turned to me. more smug than ever. Told you. Now hurry up and call Will. Let's get that house sold. That was when I finally broke down. I wailed, shoulders shaking. I wanted to tell you yesterday, but I couldn't. The truth is, the house isn't mine anymore. Everyone froze. I took out a huge loan, I sobbed. I was dating someone, thought we were serious, we were about to meet the families. But he scammed me. A romance scam. Mom's face twisted in disbelief. You got conned? All my savings are gone. Over $400,000, and the house is mortgaged, the title's tied up in debt. Dad clutched his chest. You idiot child. Right then, Will walked in. I'd called him the night before. I checked with the bank, he said solemnly. Jess's house can't be sold. She's deep underwater. At best, the bank might break even. My mom panicked, grabbing my dad's arm. Then we'll sell Mike and Rachel's place. That's a school district property. It'll fetch a fortune. Will looked at Rachel. Actually, I have a buyer looking for exactly that kind of home. If you're ready to sell, we can sign today. Money will be in your account by next week. What? Rachel shrieked. Why should we sell our house? You all just expect us to give everything up now. I added softly. Money won't matter soon, right? Isn't staying alive more important? Rachel was about to explode again, but Mike dragged her into another room. 10 minutes later, they came out, Rachel looking furious but defeated. We'll do it, she muttered. Will grinned and left to prepare the contract. The rest of us sat in silence. Finally, Mike said, That house should sell for about $800,000. I've got $200,000 in cash. You and Mom have about $100,000. Still not enough for all the supplies. Dad looked at me. Jess, how much do you have left? I hesitated. Maybe $10,000. Dad stood up, hand twitching like he wanted to slap me. Wait, I yelled. I have an idea. We can take out loans. There are tons of lending apps. If each of us borrows from all of them. We could get $1 million, I said. $2 million, even. And it won't matter. We won't have to pay any of it back after the apocalypse. They were quiet. Then Mom asked, Would that actually work? Of course it would. Mike slapped his knee. Jess is right. Screw the system. Survival first? I showed them a list of loan apps I'd compiled overnight. One by one, they downloaded them all. An hour later, they'd finished. Rachel suddenly turned to me. You go first. Show us how to do it. I put on a pained face. I can't. I already maxed out all my credit trying to save the house. They won't lend to me anymore. I demonstrated a few apps. All showed I was ineligible. Rachel scoffed. Useless. All that career woman crap and you can't even qualify for a loan? You're all talk, Jess. She sneered again. No wonder you never got married. Women like you get scammed. You were lucky we even let you join in. I kept my head down and stayed silent. By sunset, my entire family had taken out over $1 million in loans. I asked innocently, Don't you think that's more than we need? Mom didn't even look up. Borrow as much as we can. Doesn't matter if we can't pay it back. Gluttony has no limits. But karma always has a bill. Later that evening, Will returned with the contract. They signed everything quickly. Rachel and Mike's house was sold. When it was done, I picked up my bag. I'll head home and start packing, I told them. We'll move together later. Mike snorted. Mom forced a smile. Jess, before you go, transfer that $10,000 to me, for supplies. And make a list of your canned goods, rice, whatever. Bring it all when you move in. I swallowed hard. They weren't planning to take me with them. They were planning to take everything from me, then throw me out. Back home, I lay in bed and opened the live camera feed from their apartment. They were giddy, buzzing with plans. Using some doomsday prepper novel as a guide, they divided up tasks. Mike was in charge of renting the top floor of a new condo in a remote area. It had to be double unit. He'd also handle renovations, bulletproof windows, solar panels, soundproof walls, reinforced doors. Dad was buying weapons, fitness gear, fire extinguishers. Mom was shopping for medicine and hygiene products. Rachel handled food and entertainment essentials. They were so excited, they barely noticed Tyler gnawing on a crab leg. Dinner that night? Lobster, abalone, king crab, wagyu beef, and a bottle of Mao Tai. The whole feast cost over $3,000. Mike paid like he was Jeff Bezos. Mom and Dad were shocked. They'd been frugal their whole lives. But Mike just said, "It's the end of the world, folks. We party while we can." Dad popped the cork. "Hell yeah. I've never had Mao Tai or king crab. Let's die rich." They toasted. They laughed. They feasted like it was their last night on Earth. I watched it all on my screen, smiling coldly. This was only the beginning. According to Tyler, day 20 was the official countdown to the zombie apocalypse. That day, Mike and Rachel's house officially changed hands. The money hit their account. After that, my parents kept calling me, assigning tasks, mostly about stockpiling supplies. I always claimed I was busy. They reminded me repeatedly. "Once the new place is ready, we'll tell you where it is. Then you can move in." But every time I brought it up, they dodged the question. According to Tyler's countdown, day 10 marked the completion of their safe house. From the camera feed, I saw they'd paid the construction workers double the market rate just to rush the job. The place looked like a doomsday fortress. Solar panels, triple lock security doors, bulletproof glass and all. They began moving in their supplies. Boxes upon boxes of canned food, water, medical kits, and toilet paper. All packed like it was a scene from one of those survivalist YouTube channels. 3 days before the so-called apocalypse, they officially moved into the bunker. I called, over and over. Finally, Mom picked up. "Mom, send me the address," I said, trying to keep my voice calm. "I'll come meet you there." She looked away from the screen, clearly stalling. Her eyes flicked to the side, seeking help. Mike yanked the phone from her hand. "You always thought you were better than us, huh?" He sneered. "College girl. Big job. Buying houses on your own. Too good for your own family." I stayed silent. "When Dad asked you to buy a house for the family, you only gave $30,000, he snapped. "When I wanted a car, you handed me $10,000 like I was some kind of beggar." "You think that was enough?" His voice rose to a shout. "Well, guess what, Jessica? You're not getting into the bunker. You're on your own." Click. He hung up. I called back. Blocked. Then a text from Mom popped up. "Jess, we'll meet again after the apocalypse, if you survive. Don't contact us again. Your brother's already mad enough." Blocked again. I tried every number. Everyone had cut me off. Even though I knew what they were, I still felt a deep sting in my chest. They'd been my family. I'd loved them, cared for them, helped them. But to them, I'd always been disposable. Once I confirmed they had fully moved in and wouldn't leave the safe house again, I invited Will over. "I want to sell my parents' apartment," I said calmly, "and also mine." Immediately, I explained everything. The lies, the scam, the loans, the betrayal. Will was stunned, but nodded. "You sure you want to do this?" he asked. "I'm sure," I said. "Okay," he replied. "And, hey, if you need help finding a new place, let me know." I smiled. "Actually, Will, one more thing. If you find any buyers who are, let's say, difficult to deal with, loud, unreasonable, or maybe even a bit shady, I'll knock $5,000 off the price." He blinked, then grinned slowly. Got it. Within a week, both properties were sold. I had $800,000 in my account. That night, I booked a one-way ticket to Yunnan, a quiet, scenic province full of mountains, lakes, and tourists. Somewhere I could disappear. For the first time in a decade, I had no job, no plans, no deadlines. Just freedom. 3 days after I arrived, I got a call from Tyler's homeroom teacher. "Hi, Miss Jessica. Tyler hasn't shown up for school in weeks. His dad said something about zombies. Do you know what's going on? I faked a cheerful voice. Oh, I'm out of town on business. I'm not sure, but I'll check in when I get back. I hung up. It was already past the day Tyler had predicted the apocalypse would begin. I waited. A week later, I had just bought a small courtyard house in the countryside. I was getting ready to turn it into a bed and breakfast. Then my phone rang. It was my mom. Jess, she said urgently, what's going on out there? Are there zombies? We haven't seen any. Is it possible Tyler was wrong? I looked outside. Clear skies, birds chirping, normal life everywhere. I played along. Mom, it's bad here. Zombies are everywhere. I'm running out of food, please. Where are you? I'll come find you. What? She asked, panicked. But everything looks normal outside. We still have water and gas? I cut her off. Really? Mine's been shut off for days. Send me your address. Click. She hung up. Blocked again. That was when it hit me. They weren't just selfish. They were also unbelievably stupid. Once I settled into my new place, I started documenting the renovation on social media. DIY renovation content had gone viral lately, and before long, my little account gained traction. I posted everything: color palettes, tile samples, solar panel installations, even my struggles with contractors. Followers began flooding in. Some offered tips, others sent me sketches and mood boards. One fan called it their digital dream inn. I loved that. Things were finally quiet, peaceful. Then one afternoon, I got another call from Mom. The moment I picked up, she exploded. You little bitch, Jessica. You set us up. There's no damn zombie apocalypse. You lied. I pulled the phone away from my ear until she finished screaming. We're getting calls every hour from loan collectors, she continued. They're threatening us, banging on our door. We can't leave the safe house. This is all your fault. I waited until she ran out of breath. Then I said sweetly, that's fine. Go ahead and cut me off. I'll change my name too. I don't need to be a Carter anymore. You and Dad. I paused for effect. You wanted me out anyway, right? I just beat you to it. Also, I added cheerfully, make sure you all stay hidden in your precious bunker. If those collectors catch you, they'll break your arms and legs. You won't be able to run. Click. I hung up and blocked her again. A second later, my dad called. I turned off the phone entirely. That afternoon, I went straight to the local records office. I legally changed my name from Jessica Carter to Lily Quinn. Jessica had been their disappointment, their scapegoat, their human ATM, Lily. She was free. I picked Quinn because it sounded normal, grounded, like someone who could live quietly and build something better. After the paperwork, I changed my number and social media, cut off everyone from my past, except for a handful of real friends. Radio silence. Later, I heard from Will. They're still hiding in that bunker, he said, amused. Loan sharks come by daily, throwing red paint, poop. You name it. I asked. Any damage? Nope. The doors really were top quality, Will said, laughing. Collectors tried to break the locks but couldn't. Some neighbors called the cops, but no one's opening the door. And the police, they don't care. Those loan apps aren't exactly legal either. Word spread fast. The whole neighborhood started talking. Did you hear about the Carter family? The ones who thought zombies were coming? Yeah, the ones who borrowed $1 million and disappeared. They became local legends. A joke. And me? I kept building. Months later, my bed and breakfast officially opened. Opening day was magical. Some followers traveled across the country just to be there. Others sent flower baskets and champagne. We even did a live stream, as requested. My account blew up. During the live stream, the camera briefly caught my face. At the time, I didn't think much of it. But that little flash of recognition was all it took. Someone from my old neighborhood saw it and told my family. A few days after the live stream, my phone rang. It was an unfamiliar number, but something in my gut told me to answer. Sure enough, it was my brother, Mike. Well, well, look at you, he sneered. While we've been hunted like dogs, you're out there playing internet celebrity and running a luxury B&B. You destroyed our lives, he spat. You owe us. Tyler's just a kid. How could you do this to your own nephew? He didn't even pause for breath before launching into his demands. You're going to transfer $2 million to my account. Today. Or I'll make sure your little business goes down in flames. I laughed. Out loud. You borrowed $1 million, I said. Now you want $2? You really are something else. Then I hung up and blocked his number. But it wasn't over. That night, I saw I'd been tagged in a viral post. A video titled, "She used her family's blood money to build a B&B." Thousands of strangers were flooding my page, calling me a heartless monster. She made her parents and brothers sell their homes, then tricked them into taking out loans for her business. She promised she'd help pay it back if they funded her dream. Then she cut them off. Her nephew's only 10, and now they're homeless. My B&B's reservation system was flooded with cancellations. My employees looked nervous. Jess, we don't believe any of this, my assistant said gently. But people online don't know the truth. Do you want us to make a statement? I shook my head. I'll handle it. I knew how internet firestorms worked. The golden window for crisis response is 24 hours. But I didn't act. Not yet. I wanted the storm to grow. 2 days later, the hate reached its peak. Major influencers were jumping in, using the drama for clicks. Then, finally, I posted a video. It was titled simply, "My Story." The opening text read, "You talk about virtue, but you lie, steal, manipulate, and betray. I gave my heart to the people I loved. They sold me out for pocket change. I laid it all out. How my nephew fabricated an apocalypse. How my family stole from me, gaslit me, cut me off. How they plotted to kick me out the moment they got what they wanted. And how I, in turn, gave them exactly what they asked for. Receipts, call logs, loan confirmations, old texts, surveillance footage. Then I showed bank transfers. Over $120,000 I had sent to my parents and brother over the years, none of which was ever returned. The video ended with me in tears. All I wanted was to be loved, but to them, I was just a wallet. The post exploded. Within 30 minutes, the tide turned. I'm so sorry, Lily. I judged you without knowing the truth. Your family are literal leeches. I'm crying right now. If you didn't have the receipts, the internet would have crucified you. I rebooked my room. Can't wait to visit your inn. Justice felt good, but I wasn't done yet. The video didn't just go viral. It detonated like a bomb. Now, my family wasn't seen as victims anymore. They were clowns. The neighbors who once dismissed them as eccentric now fully understood. They weren't just paranoid. They were greedy, delusional, and rotten to the core. Word spread fast. They'd tried to go back to the bunker after things blew up, but the landlord had already changed the locks. When they threw a tantrum outside the building, screaming, crying, trying to force their way in, the landlord called the cops and had them removed. Next, they tried to break into my old house. Of course, it wasn't mine anymore. A brash auntie from Queens had bought the place, and when she saw them shouting at her front door, she came out and screamed back louder. That scene got recorded and uploaded too. Mike and Rachel were completely outmatched. When fighting didn't work, they tried going to my old job, only to learn I'd resigned over 6 months ago. No address, no phone number, no idea where I'd gone. They were desperate. Until one day, a former neighbor recognized me in one of my live streams and left a comment. Isn't that Jessica Carter? From the zombie family? And that was it. My family found me. Mike sent me another message through TikTok. Wow, you really made it, huh? Living your dream while we're being hunted. We're broke, homeless, and being threatened every day, and it's all your fault. You better wire us $2 million now. If you don't, I'll ruin you. I'll make sure no one ever books your B&B again. I laughed. He still thought he had leverage. I blocked him. That night, one of their videos started trending again. It showed all 5 of them sitting in front of a cheap ring light, looking like ghosts of themselves. They cried, pleaded, accused me of betrayal, said I abandoned them after promising to build a future together. The comment section was brutal. She made them sell everything and took out loans in their names? How do you sleep at night, lady? You disgust me. My booking system crashed. Cancellations poured in. My staff looked panicked. I told them the same thing. Give me 3 days. I'll fix it. On the 3rd day, I released my final video in the series. It was a calm, devastating summary of everything they'd done. The receipts. The betrayal. The manipulation. I included the real reason I changed my name. I showed security footage of my family openly plotting to take my money and throw me out once the apocalypse started. One clip showed my dad laughing. She's just funding our bunker. When the world ends, we toss her out. Another showed Rachel rolling her eyes. She didn't even put the house in their name. What a selfish brat. I ended with this. I didn't destroy my family. I escaped them. This time, the internet didn't just side with me, they rallied. Lily, we owe you an apology. Your strength is unreal. You deserve peace. I rebooked my stay. You're amazing. My inn was fully booked for the next 6 months within 24 hours. But for my family, the spiral had only begun. Back in the city, my family had nowhere left to go. With their names and faces plastered across the internet, no one would rent to them. They tried to camp outside the safe house again. No luck. The landlord had reinforced the doors and even hired a guard. They eventually ended up sleeping under a highway overpass, like modern-day vagabonds. Then, one day, something snapped. Mike discovered that my parents were sneaking out every day to buy themselves food. Actual food, hot meals, while he and Rachel were living on stale crackers and leftover ramen. That was when he remembered. They still had their monthly retirement checks, and they hadn't shared a cent. Mike lost it. He grabbed my dad during one of his secret outings and demanded the debit card tied to their pension. There was a struggle. Somehow, in the chaos, my dad fell into the street, right in front of an oncoming car. He and my mom died instantly. Rachel screamed. She grabbed Tyler and tried to run, but Mike was in full-blown madness by then. He chased them down and he killed them with his bare hands. By the time the police arrived, Mike was sitting on the curb, holding a bloody kitchen knife like it was a toy. He didn't run. He didn't even flinch. When the officers asked what happened, he smiled blankly. The zombies came, he whispered. I got 2 of them. He was taken into custody, declared legally insane, and institutionalized. When the police called me to notify next of kin, I didn't answer. Instead, I called Will and asked for a favor. He connected me with a contact at a funeral home. I wired them 10 grand. Take care of everything, I said. Cremation. Basic arrangements. No names. No ceremony. Are you sure? The funeral director asked gently. I'm sure. I never went back. I never looked back. Instead, I focused on opening my second B&B. I named it Tomorrow, because for the first time in my life, my tomorrow was finally mine.